What's good, you guys? A long time no see. I am finally back with another video after not posting for like almost 2 months now. I keep coming out of the woodworks for these videos and then I just go missing. And my goal mainly for 2026 is to be fully consistent with uploading a YouTube video once a week. So I better make that happen. But luckily I have the new iPhone and I have a shit ton of storage. So I truly have no excuses because I was only filming on my Digicam, but then I would take forever to just edit and like do all that good stuff. So without further ado, let's get into today's video. But actually, I have one thing to remind you guys of before we get into this video, and it is to grab a snack or a beverage of your choice. Here I've concocted some sort of apple caramel tea. I basically used a caramel apple tea bag and then added some oat milk along with this apple creamer and some cinnamon. It's still very hot, so I will sip on this later. Also, here's my new nails for October. They're so sick and I'm obsessed. My nail tech eats down every time. All right, enough of the yapping. So today I want to talk about how my experience has been like living in New York City for the past 6 months now. I'm about to go on 7 months, but basically we're just going to cover how it's been for half a year out here. So I moved to the city about, I think it was like beginning of April, from Northern Virginia, and I've actually lived in Northern Virginia for my entire life, and I never really moved outside of Virginia, let alone my hometown. I was out of my hometown for college and then for 1 year after graduating. But yeah, basically I've just been in Virginia for most of my life, and I would come up to the city often. You know, I had a lot of family friends in this area, and then like eventually I would just visit friends and have fun in the city. And I even lived here for a short amount of time, like maybe like a month and a half or 2 months, just subletting in 2023, and I had a really good experience, but things didn't work out at the time for me, you know, being able to move here and whatnot. So we're just gonna get into everything, but this video is going to really focus a lot on how it's been like with just my healing journey and going inwards while being in a city like New York. I think I haven't really seen that many people talk about that online. I think that when we generally think of people being more spiritual and, you know, healing and going inwards, think of them leading a very calm lifestyle, maybe in a calmer environment. And for me, that is not entirely the case. But I hope that this video helps you guys feel less alone if you guys are living in the city and are on the same wavelength as me. Or, you know, maybe you guys want to move to the city but feel like it might be too chaotic and like, how are you going to heal here? I got you covered. We're gonna get right into it. So without further ado, for real this time, let's get into it. Okay, so I have been wanting to move to New York City for as long as I could remember, but I think in 2023 was when I started to realize that my sensitivity was like very much a real thing. The few times I was back and forth in the city, I did notice that mentally, if I wasn't okay, the city amplified that. And so this was something that I started to keep in mind and was like, you know, eventually, you know, do I move here? Do I pick another state? Like, what do I do? I was so confused because something in me kept pulling me to New York. You know, I am a full-blown creative, and outside of this mindset content I make, I do make a lot of fashion, lifestyle, and beauty content. Fashion is like my number one passion, I would say. And I feel like here you can literally do anything in the world and it's okay, right? Which was a total contrast from being in Northern Virginia. So anyways, earlier this year, I just felt it in my soul. Like anytime I would be driving in Virginia, I was like, I need to get out of here. And I'd felt that way many times, but this was the first time where it was like unbearable for me to live in Virginia. And you know, I had good friends, like I had a social life going and everything, but I was like, yeah, if I really want to grow in life and just like do my thing, then this is the time. I had recently turned 27 and I was just like, bro, it's now or never. Like, I don't know if it was just like the late 20s in me, like that whole mindset of like, oh my God, I'm pushing 30, I need to like do something with my life. Like, I don't know if like that took over or if I was just genuinely so over everything down there. But yeah, shortly after I ended up figuring everything out for my moved in April, and initially I definitely was socializing more and partying and drinking more, and it was really easy for me to give into peer pressure. But I truly feel like the past few months God has been working overtime for me to make sure that I stay away from so many situations and people that would have fully derailed my vision, because earlier this year, I know damn well, and I mean, even before that, I was like listening to God's path. I really was, you know, when things were not working in my favor, I stayed calm. I was still very grateful. I was still focused on the vision. I was still going inwards, and God really listened to my prayers. And it kind of got to a place where I was just pretty isolated while being in the city, and I wasn't really making new friends, and I'm still kind of like getting there. We're still working on it, but I actually ended up becoming so much of a homebody, and I still am. I am starting to defrost a little bit more, you know, now that I'm more comfortable being in the city and just like have more connections in the city. I'm telling you guys, this summer was truly the biggest healing girl summer that I've ever had in my entire life. And I was shook because I thought I'd be out and about in the city, living it up, since it was my first summer here since moving. But yeah, that didn't happen. I like went so heavily inwards. I ended up doing a solo travel trip to Croatia in August, which ended up being so nice. And I think I was able to make that happen genuinely because the rest of the summer I was just like I was barely eating out, I was barely drinking. So that ended up happening, but that only was able to happen because I kept going inwards and I kept staying true to myself. I can see how it can be really easy to lose yourself in the city if you let it happen, but it's just up to you, because a lot of people definitely have huge substance issues without even realizing, to, you know, alcohol, weed, like other drugs that I don't even like want to get into or know about, to be honest. The culture here, like especially, you know, if you're in corporate, you know, if you're in finance, you have a startup, it's very much like every day you're grinding, and then the weekends you're just like partying, wasted, whatever. And I was like, yeah, I'm not subscribing to that. And because I work from home, it is easier for me to just conserve my energy, and then after work I would be really good about going on my walks and going to the gym and everything. And some weekends here and there I would check out some parties, but like again, not too much. My body has also changed drastically in the past year in itself, so I can't like do back-to-back shit, which again, if you live in the city, it can be really easy to have a bunch of events stack up and you're stretching yourself thin. People are interesting out here. I don't know, that's all I can say. It is definitely a bit more competitive. I didn't realize in the creative space how people could be very competitive and ego driven. I mean, I should have known, it is the city, but the other thing is that you can be as cringe as you want, you can post as much as you want, you can talk about your content as much as you want with people, and even if people are bothered or like hate on you, people actually respect you for doing what you want to do out here. And so that really kept me going, because even the times that I felt incredibly alone, I look around and I'm just like, it's New York City, I can make anything happen. I can meet whoever I want, I can have opportunities flow to me, there's so many rooms for me to be in. And I think that hope is genuinely what keeps me going. I think that I have just been able to be so authentically myself, but more than that, I've been so much better at setting boundaries. That's another thing. Like, it's really easy for people to be like, come here, come do this, come do that. People will test you left and right here if you're not stern on your fucking boundaries. And if you don't know who you are, the city will chew you alive very fast. So that is something I realized. So if you are someone like me who's actually a very sweet soul but has an RBF, use that damn RBF. Use your pretty privilege, use your charm, whatever, you know, be stern, be about yourself, and the city will reward you for it greatly. Okay, I need to drink a little bit of my tea. Oh my god, I feel so much better. So I know that being in the city can be expensive. You don't have as much room for your stuff. I actually have a really big room, but I do live in a flex, so that means that my closet space is limited. I use the outside closets, but it's not like ideal. I can't really hang everything up. Obviously, there's pollution everywhere. You hear noises all the time, 24/7. I hear so many crazy people at night, like randomly. It can get overwhelming if you don't ground yourself, but there's also so many little pockets of places where there is nature, and there's like walks by the water, and you know, there's Central Park, there's so many places to go if you just want to calm your mind. And ultimately, like, no one is going to coddle you in the city. Like, you really have to figure out what works for you. But that's what I love about it. I feel like I was in an environment where I had to rely on my parents a lot growing up, and you know, coming from a South Asian background, I feel like, I mean, if you're South Asian watching this, you might know, but if you do live with your parents, doesn't matter how old you are, they're going to still treat you like a kid in some aspects, maybe even in all aspects, depends on your relationship with them. But I feel like it was so hard for me to really do everything on my own. Like, they'd always be like, I'll handle that, or like, don't even worry about this, or no, do this later, or like, can you do this for me now? So it was just like, either they were trying to like step in and do things, or they would get mad at me if I was like always out and about, which I ended up being out and about all the time back home because I didn't want to be at home, so that they wouldn't see me and be like, oh, can you help me with X, Y, and Z? And it was just so much of that. I never felt like I was truly my own person there. And on top of that, just like when you're in your hometown for most of your life, people are a little bit more smaller minded, closed off. It's harder to just like do your thing without getting hate for it or without feeling constantly judged. Anytime I'd go to the gym or anytime I'd step out, the chances of me running into a family friend were so high. Like, I actually always saw family friends at the gym, and I was just like, I'm just trying to get a good workout in. Couldn't do that there. When I moved here, I knew it was gonna be tough, but I have full freedom, and the fact that whoever I am today, like right now in this moment, all the new tastes I've acquired, the new habits I've formed, the mindset I have on life, my resilience, my confidence that just exudes everywhere, like, it is all a result of just me pushing through and staying focused on the vision, and just allowing myself to be the best version of myself in this insane city. And I wouldn't change that for the world. It is very true. If you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere in the world. I think that when people say that, they just mean that this is the one city where you have to figure it out on your own. There's so many possibilities, but you have to see everything as a possibility. You have to be hopeful. You have to be strong in who you are, like I said earlier, because there's so many people in the city and there's so many opportunities. What path are you gonna take? That's kind of for you to decide. Whereas, you know, in smaller towns and suburban areas, there's usually like very limited ways of living and being. And if you do step outside of the norm, then generally you're just in your own bubble. But here, chances are there's probably someone out there doing exactly what you're doing, or something very similar to what you're doing. And yeah, as crowded as this city is, it can be really easy to feel lonely. But yeah, I just feel so blessed that I get to call this place home. One thing I've realized though is that, like, if I don't ground myself here, it is very easy for me to spiral. That on top of that, you know, I don't like have that many close friends in the city. I'm far away from like everyone I've ever known. So yeah, it can get tough at times. It also feels weird, not even weird, but I've definitely gotten in my head about this because, again, you know, when I first moved to the city, I thought I would just have more connections and like people would be hitting me up more, because there's a lot of people, like a lot of mutuals I have that live in the city, and like no one really, like not that many people really hit me up. And I guess like that whole quiet competition thing is like very much real here, as it is, you know, anywhere in the world, right? But here it's just like, if people see something in you, it's very quick for them to like turn on you and ice you out. And if you don't realize your worth here, again, like I said earlier, you will get chewed out. So you really have to like always remind yourself of your purpose and your vision. No one's going to tell you that, oh, you're gonna make it. And if they do tell you that you're gonna make it and they're trying to sell you something, some fake dream, yeah, they're trying to scam you out here, okay? Being an authentic soul in the city is tough for sure, but it's not impossible. Like, there are times where I've questioned if I should have chosen a city that's just more like relaxed and like more grounded, and maybe eventually I will move somewhere else. Like, I don't know yet, but I will say that as someone who has always been really afraid to speak up and express herself and use her voice, this is the one city that will allow you to grow tenfold and reward you again for like having a platform, for using your voice, for going all out with everything that you're doing. Like, you're never gonna really be seen as too much. I mean, there's always gonna be haters, but like at the end of the day, it's like sometimes when I feel extra, like whether, you know, it's a way I'm dressed up, or like whether it's the way that I'm dressed up, or whether it's just what I'm posting online, like just like, yeah, but I live in New York City, and I feel like I kind of just love having that card. But yeah, people ask me all the time, they're like, how has it been living in the city? Like, how do you like it? How have the past few months been? And I just genuinely like don't know what to fully say to them, because I haven't done much in the city, to be honest. Like I said earlier, I have been going inwards a lot, and I really just do keep to myself most of the time. Like, I truly am such a homebody now, and I love it that way. Yeah, if you are someone who is an authentic soul and you know you're really here to do the inner work and be the best version of yourself, because trust me, a lot of people are not here to do that. Yeah, think twice before moving here, but it's not impossible for sure. Like, biggest thing is to have a good routine. Don't like, you have to have like extremely hard boundaries. Like, it can't just be loose boundaries, because again, boundaries, like, people, unless they're very strong, people don't really respect them. You have to have very hard boundaries. Make sure there's a few spots that you like to go to. Make sure there's a few recipes up your arsenal that, you know, you enjoy cooking. Sure that you are really committed to like whatever you're doing, whether that's a hobby on the side, whether that's starting a new business, doing a project. Always keep yourself, you don't necessarily have to keep yourself busy at all times, but just make sure there's always something to do if, you know, you start to feel low and you start to feel overwhelmed. Have things that will ground you, essentially. But yeah, all in all, the past 6 months have been extremely transformative for me, and I'm really excited to see what the city has for me in store, like, moving forward. I'm not rushing into making all these friends and experiencing all these things and, you know, chasing these opportunities, because I know they're gonna happen in their divine timing. Like, I am truly here to build a proper life and a grounded lifestyle. That's what I'm focused on more, over just like chasing the NYC typical life, if you will. Yeah, I definitely see myself being here for a long time. Like, I don't know how long that's gonna be. I don't know how anything is going to look like, but yeah, I'm definitely happy. It has been tough, has not been easy by any means, but I wouldn't change it for the world. Anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed watching this video. Feel free to leave any comments down below if you have any questions about living in the city, what it's like, and just all that good stuff. I'd be happy to answer them, and I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.